Hey guys, so for today's video, I'm walking you through my entire go-to base routine makeup. As you guys probably know, my channel is very focused on eyeshadow, so I don't always show my base routine on camera, but I wanted to do a video just kind of dedicated to it and kind of walk you through every single step. I did also show you exactly how I do my brows, so this is kind of like an updated brow routine plus go-to base routine video. All the products I used are products I have been loving recently. A lot of them were in my yearly favorites video. So if you want to see how I get my skin to look like this, go ahead and keep on watching. All right, let's get started with my base routine. I have nothing on my face right now. I already did my skincare just a couple hours ago. I am going to start off with my Sigma lip mask in Hush. I put this on every single time I do my makeup at the very beginning. So then when I do my lips at the end, my lips are nice and hydrated. I am feeling kind of extra dry today, just like all over, so there's that. So I say this all the time, but I do have microblading in my eyebrows, but my eyebrows are pretty naturally full and I do have a lot of brow hair to begin with. So I'm gonna start with the NYX Brow Glue. I think I'm on my second or third bottle of this, and I like to brush my hairs kind of backwards so I can get the product really up in there, and then I'll brush them nicely. And then I like to take a spoolie and really brush them up and like press down a little bit and add some pressure so they stay up. Because my brow hairs don't like to stay up. They will fall down throughout the day. And then I like to take my finger and really glue them down here. So there's the difference just like that, but they will not stay like this, I promise. I know it looks crazy. And I know that some people hate this like laminated brow trend, but I'm all for it. Now I'm going to take the NYX Brow Pen. I swear, this combo is just amazing. And I'm going to add in a couple brow strokes, mostly at the front of my brow. I'm sorry if this won't focus. It doesn't like to focus when I do this. So no, that was like, what, 10 strokes throughout my brow? Then I'm going to take my Patrick Ta brow pencil, and I like to just lightly line underneath my brow. And pushing the brow hairs up at first really helps this out so you can see like a nice kind of clean line. Alright, and that is pretty much all I do to my brows, but this is really easy for me and I've really simplified it over the past couple years and I really like this routine. And I always do my brows first when I do my makeup. If I do it like after my foundation, there's already like foundation in my eyebrows, so it just works best for me to do it this way, brows first and then the rest of my makeup. Alright, so let's move on to the base. Like I said, I'm feeling pretty dry today, but I've been using this product underneath every single foundation. It is the Saie Glowy Super Gel in the shade Star Glow. I talked about this in my yearly favorites video, but it's supposed to be like a liquid highlighter, but I love it as a primer because it's so glowy and it has a nice cooling like gel texture to it, so it kind of like hydrates my skin too. It really just feels amazing and I feel like it looks good under every foundation I wear. Like right there, just look at how glowy my skin is. And it's not too glowy. It's not like I'm putting like the Rare Beauty liquid highlighter all over my face. It doesn't look like a highlighter when it's spread out like this. All right, let's talk foundations really quick. So over the past couple months, I've realized that I like more of a tinted moisturizer and not a foundation. So the two that I've been just loving are the Urban Decay Hydromaniac and the Fenty Beauty Eaze Drop. So this one's a little bit more hydrating and this one's a little more, I don't want to say matte, but it leans more of like a satiny matte finish. And so for my skin, you might be looking at me and be like, oh my gosh, Angela, you have acne. I don't really have acne. It's more just clogged pores that I pick at. I do have dermatillomania, which means that it's just kind of like an anxiety skin picking problem. I am working on that, but I don't really have acne. It's just clogged pores that I dig at, and it looks like acne as it scars and tries to heal over. So like if I go a week without picking, my skin will look flawless, and then I'll have like an anxiety issue, and then it turns into this. Anyways, so because my skin is feeling a little bit drier today, I am going to use the Urban Decay one. What I really like about this too is the shade range. So I use the shade 30 Light. I can use it when I'm pale or when I have like a faded self-tan. And then recently I just bought the shade 40 Light Medium. So I think I'm going to use this one today. So I'm going to take the 40 and I just kind of draw like a little swirl on my face. I also really like that it's a squeezy tube, like you can use all the product. And then I'll blend it in with my Sigma F76. This is my current favorite foundation brush. I really haven't been using my Real Technique sponge recently. I feel like I just go through phases where sometimes I want a brush, sometimes I want a sponge. Like I said, I've really been liking tinted moisturizers. Like I've tried to use, you know, like my Too Faced Born This Way foundation I really like. I used NARS Sheer Glow the other day and I just didn't like how it looked on my skin. I just feel like a foundation looks too heavy on me right now. So I've really been liking using more of like a tinted moisturizer or just a lightweight foundation and then using a full coverage concealer where I really need it. So that's why I haven't bought like the new House Labs foundation. The Makeup by Mario one just came out and like I was kind of interested in the Makeup by Mario, but right now I just don't feel like I need it. Like look at how good that looks. Just this guy. I actually am gonna wet my sponge. BRB. One time I asked my boyfriend to wet my sponge for me and I told him like get it really wet under the sink then squeeze it out, and he squeezed it out so hard that it was like literally dry when he brought it back to me. So don't ask your boyfriend to wet your sponge. So I do just have a little bit of brush strokes on my face. So I'm just gonna pat over those really quick. Okay, now like I said, I like to take a full coverage concealer, and my favorite one for this is the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. I have used so much of this. I think I've had it for like 2 years now, and I love this progress. I have it in my tan shade, which is Custard, and my light shade, which is Vanilla. So I take some of that on a concealer brush, and just like any spots that are still kind of peeking through, still look a little discolored, I'll just add this on top. Alright, so kind of like that. And then I like to let the concealer sit on my face for just a minute, and while that's sitting, I will take my Sigma Under Eye Duo. Look at how much of this I have used. I have a backup waiting for me, but I really want to like just finish this all. So I like to mix both colors on my Sigma F64. And I will just place that under my eyes. And this just really helped brighten up the area. I love this on like a full makeup day like today, or even a no makeup day. And it's so lightweight and thin that it does not cake up under your eyes. I've used this on my 60-year-old mom and she really likes it too. And now I'm going to spray my face with some Rare Beauty mist. I don't think this is a setting spray, right? It's just a 4-in-1 mist, so you can kind of use it whenever throughout your routine. Again, I'm just feeling dry today, but I feel like this mist really helps kind of blend in the concealer. So I'm going to take that brush I was just using and really patting in the concealer. Alright, my skin looks so good right now. It looks dewy, it looks healthy and glowy, and not too cakey, not too much coverage. So now I'm going to use my cream bronzer, and my favorite for that is the Rare Beauty cream bronzer. I'm using the shade Power Boost, and I like to start on my forehead, draw a couple lines up here, and this product just glides on so easily. It is so easy to blend out. I'm using a Sephora Collection 56 foundation brush to blend this out, and I like to blend upwards into my hairline. And over the past couple of months, I've really been playing around with the order of cream products I used, and I found I like to do bronzer, blush, then concealer. I used to do concealer, blush, bronzer, so now it's like completely the opposite. So then I draw some here, all along my chin, my jaw, sides of my nose, and under my lip. And now we blend. And now I like to take a cream blush. This could be any cream blush. I've been trying out the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand in Pinkgasm. I got this little mini during the holiday sale. And this shade is just gorgeous. I understand the hype now. It took me a minute to try the blush, but it's good. So I know Tarte just duped their cream bronzers. I kind of want to try it, but I have so many cream bronzers right now. So I'm using that same brush and patting in the blush. I had someone comment on, I think it was my New Year's video, and she was like, I love that you actually put blush on the apples of your cheeks and not that like super high cheekbone that a lot of YouTubers do. And I was like, yeah, I have a lot of cheek and I like to cover it with blush. I also think blush is just so fun. And I like to bring a little extra along the bridge of my nose. I like that look. I'm not really going for like the cold girl makeup look. I just feel like it kind of evens everything out. And I do tend to go a little overboard with the blush. Like I want to add more, so I'm going to. Right here. Apples of the cheeks, baby. And I kind of like to smile to like get my cheeks up. I feel like that's such an old technique people would do. They'd be like, I remember my mom telling me when I was little, like, smile when you put your blush on. It works. And then taking my sponge again and just tapping over that. Alright, now that my blush and bronzer are on, I'm going to add my concealer. And I'm going to use the Sephora Best Skin Ever Concealer. And I'm using the shade 11.5p. Ever since I got this concealer, I have not used anything else. I just love how this looks under my eyes. And I like to do that with my concealer. And maybe like a little bit here. Drawing like half of a triangle shape. And then sometimes I add a little bit to kind of brighten this area. I don't like to brighten my chin because I have a lot of chin to begin with. And I'm gonna let that sit for a second. Drink my water. All right, I'm gonna go back to that concealer brush I was using and I'm just patting in this concealer. I like to bring it outwards and then bring whatever is left over onto my eyelid. Okay, now this is the next important part. You see how there's kind of like a disconnect now. You can kind of really see where my concealer is. My blush placement looks a little bit off, right? So I'm gonna go back to my blush brush and I'm gonna pat over where the concealer and my blush are meeting and connecting and just kind of blend over that to smooth it out. I don't know, can you see a difference? This is smoothed out. This one's not. Maybe, maybe not. I feel like this makes a difference for me. Part of me wants to add even more blush, but I'm gonna wait. And now I like to immediately set my under eyes. I'm gonna use the RCMA No Color Powder. I have been using this powder under my eyes for 4 or 5 years now. I don't use anything else under my eyes. This is the best in my opinion, and it's pretty cheap. So I'm taking that on a Sigma F35, and I'm going to look up and just set under here. I'm also going to set my eyelid. I don't think I'm going to do any kind of grand eyeshadow look today, so I'm not going to use any eyeshadow primer. Also not doing my eyes on camera today because this is a base routine. So you can see the difference there. See how this side is still pretty shiny under my eyes and this side is nice and set. And I like to bring the powder down kind of around my nose right here, kind of where we get those like bigger pores on your face. I know this seems like a lot of steps, but I can do this full routine in like 15-20 minutes. That might still seem like a lot of time to you, but to me that's pretty quick. Now I'm gonna lightly set the rest of my face. I'm gonna use the Kosas Cloud Set Powder in Comfy, and I'm gonna use a Sigma F24 brush. So I just like to bounce that on my forehead. And this just kind of gets rid of like the extra shine. Like you can still see the product underneath and see the glow it gives, but it's not going to mattify your skin. And I go over my entire face, just not my under eyes because I already set that. And I like to bring a little bit down my neck since I did add that cream bronzer down here. Now I'm going to add more blush. I know it's a little crazy. This is just what I like to do. So for this, I like to use a glowy blush. So I love the Hourglass blushes. I have this blush quad that I bought a couple years ago and I'm really trying to get some use out of it. So I'm going to take these two shades right here on a Sigma F12. And again, do a little smile and just kind of bounce that on top of my cheeks. And this just kind of like sets your blush in place, adds a little bit more back to the skin. I just love adding a powder blush on top of a cream blush. I don't know if that kind of defeats the purpose of the cream blush, but I feel like it makes the blush last longer. And again, I bring a little bit on the bridge of my nose. And now for the last step is highlighter, of course. So I'm going to take the new Rare Beauty bronzer in Exhilarate. And I saw this little hack on TikTok that I've been liking. So you take kind of a fluffier powder brush and you just do a little dip in there. Start at the top of your cheekbone. The first time I tried this, I did the apples of my cheeks first and it was too much highlight. So I start here and just brush it down and it kind of covers the whole cheek. And I learned this on TikTok from Selena Gomez's makeup artist, and I feel like it's so pretty. Instead of having that like stripe of highlight, It's just a glow all over. And this brush I'm using is from the Sigma and Samantha brush set. It is the tapered contour. I don't think you can buy this brush individually, but like any powder fluffy brush that has some give in it would work for this. Even that blush brush I was just using would totally work for this step. And then I will always spray my face with the Urban Decay All Nighter spray. You really can't go wrong with All Nighter. Let me just zoom in so you can see my skin. Like, you can still see my skin texture. Of course, we all have skin texture. And like, I don't film with any filter or anything. I just have my lights on in front of a window. And here's what it looks like close up. Not bad. I'm gonna go do a little bit of makeup on my eyes and then we'll wrap up this video. All right, I went ahead and did a little bit of eyeshadow off camera. I used the Natasha Denona My Dream palette. If you want to know what shades I used Serenity all over my lid, blended it out with Nurture, and then a little bit of Spontaneous and Thrill just popped on the center, and then my lower lash line is Serenity with some black eyeliner. And I did do something crazy today. I am not wearing false eyelashes. I'm just wearing mascara. I'm wearing the Hourglass Caution mascara. I recently just bought this one because I was looking for another tubing mascara and I forgot how much I love this one. My lashes look amazing right now, so I was like, I don't even want falsies today. And on my lips, I'm wearing two products that I want to add into my project pan, which is the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in Iconic Nude and the Fenty lip gloss in Fussy. Alright, so that is everything on my face, and I absolutely love how my makeup turned out right now. Like I said, this has been my go-to base routine for the past like 2 months, I want to say. I really feel like I have perfected it, and I just love how it looks, and it does wear beautifully throughout the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.